I just posted a video um, on my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and I just kind of wanted to talk a little further. And of course, if you guys have any questions, uh, please, I really want this to be a discussion because I know you guys have a lot of questions. I only know about Jacquees because you guys, inbox me and show me his music, and I'm like, oh my God, doesn't this guy suck? You know, I actually have never thought that this guy sucks. I've never thought that. I've always just thought, wow, he would do really well with voice lessons. And I think that way because I don't know, I just see in his face that he is so passionate about singing. Like he really wants to do well. Like I see his wheels turning while he's singing. It's not I don't look at him and see a Wild Wild West singer, like somebody who I call people Wild Wild West singers when you can tell they're giving no thought to what they're doing. They couldn't care less if they forget words, go sharp or flat, change keys. I can tell this guy cares about singing. He cares about his execution. And so that makes me feel like he just doesn't have the skill set to actually execute the way that he ideally wants to. And what do I mean? So, the most recent, I guess, internet debacle that's happening right now is he did the national anthem, I want to say in LA. And so, he starts off, well, I can't say he starts off shaky. Most of it was shaky. It didn't really fall though. Like it didn't derail completely. It just it was just really shaky, and he only had a couple of moments where you could feel him get his bearings. uh so the majority of it, I would say probably 70 to 80% of it was kind of shaky. So yes, he started off shaky, and it was a little, there was a couple of flat moments, but I think in general he has sharp moments. And the reason why he's sharp is because his vibrato is so fast. And the reason why his I have a naturally fast vibrato. um Jasmine Sullivan has a naturally fast vibrato. There's a lot. Kenny Lattimore has a naturally fast vibrato. There are a lot of great singers who have really fast vibrato. So a fast vibrato in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's not a sign of being a bad singer. We all have a natural pace of vibrato that, to some degree, we can manipulate. But the idea is to sing with vocal freedom, and I think that that's the issue, right? When your vibrato is so fast that you are going sharp, that means you're hyperfunctional. That means you are using too much breath pressure to sing the note, and that results in a sound of tension and sharpness. And I think that is the sound that people are hearing that make them just go, "Oh my God, his vibrato so fast. He sounds like a goat." I think it's the fast vibrato plus the sharp pitch, uh, that is off-putting. And the way that he would have to combat that is, this is where vocal lessons come into play. He's been himself his whole life. So someone else has to be observant enough to say, hey, relax your tongue while you're doing that. Back off of the breath a little bit, lift your soft palate a little bit, give a little bit more space, relax the tongue, maybe even massage the root of your tongue. And that is going to actually bring the pitch down and maybe even relax that vibrato pattern a little bit to even it out. And so then he's going to have to do that consistently, right? Across phrases. And let's just say the national anthem is a really, really difficult song. So it's kind of like the national anthem is only going to expose so much about your vocal abilities and your vocal weaknesses, because it spans across uh I want to say maybe 2 octaves. It's definitely over an octave. So it really is it wasn't really written to be sung, if that makes sense. It's not a singer song. Maybe an instrumentalist can perform it. But for the voice, it's just a killer. I don't care how good of a singer you are. You really have to pace yourself because the melody is so disjunct. Um, and so I just feel like it really exposed, in a world where singers are usually going, where they're just kind of playing between 2 and 3 notes. You're singing a song that jumps, a perfect fifth and a perfect fourth and back up to a sixth and back up to an octave. that's going to expose all of the things that you don't normally work on and that you don't do so well. And so, again, he's going to have to learn how to make bigger leaps more smoothly, how to kind of master where he wants his voice placed and being able to do that without the tension that he normally brings to it. So, he's going to have to divorce this tension from singing. And that is what takes time. But I feel like he has a lot of potential. I do feel like he has a really nice voice. Uh, I just think he needs a second set of eyes that's gonna observe him and make him aware of when that tension kicks in, um, so that he can be, first of all, cognizant of it, understand it, feel it, and then get rid of it. And that just happens over time. That just happens through practice. There's really no way around it. I think what would stop Jacquees from improving at this point is just ego. He's young. He sounds consistent. So, you know, that's a good thing. I don't hear vocal damage or anything like that. I don't know his lifestyle, but I don't hear any effects of a lot of smoking or a lot of drinking. He doesn't sound dehydrated. He doesn't sound vocally tired. So it really is just a technique issue. Um, so I feel like the only thing that would stop him would be ego. He may have a vocal coach. Either the vocal coach is ineffective, or he is filtering everything that that vocal teacher is saying through what he already thinks about himself. And what do I mean? I can tell somebody all day long what they need to do differently. But if the resulting sound isn't what they deem as good, you know, then they're gonna still manipulate it to the sound that they're used to, even though the sound they're used to doesn't isn't ideal for the overall goals of their voice. For example, if I'm teaching somebody chest voice and they go, "Oh my god, I just sound like I'm yelling," then they're never going to master chest voice. They're always going to be like, "I'm just going to sing a really pushed head voice because that's the sound I'm used to. That's the sound that's pretty to me. When I sing in chest voice, my whole timbre changes and I just don't like it." Well, you're going to have to learn to like it if you actually want to sing in chest voice. And the more you sing it, the more you'll refine it. But if you don't keep putting it out there, if you don't make a practice or a habit of it, then you're never going to improve on it. It's never going to it's never going to become part of your vocal identity. And so if he's filtering what people are saying to him through what he already thinks about himself and the vocal identity he's already taken on, and he wants to sound like this person, this person, and this person, then his vocal teacher may be hitting a brick wall if he has a vocal teacher. um was I going to say something else? That may be all I got. Let me see if anybody has asked any questions. Just said part. Good morning. This is good. Good morning, Zed. That's an excellent point. Thank you so much. So much. Oh my God. Thank you so much. um, Somebody said Whitney Houston made it look easy to sing, very few fingers. So here's the thing. We're talking about the Whitney Houston effect. When people say, "Oh my God, I sound so loud," if you really look at what Whitney was doing, here's the thing. If you have a pretty voice, singing in chest, you shouldn't try to make chest voice pretty. That's not what we're doing here. Chest voice is loud. You're belting. You're using the same vocal mechanism you would use to speak, assuming you speak like this, right? Now, if you talk like this, then no, you're not using the same mechanism to just. But if you talk like this, where your vocal cords are more compressed, which means you're TA dominant, thyroid dominant, that's the sound you want to use when you're belting. So don't turn around and tell me, "I don't like that." Learn to like it because it's you. It's your voice. And that's what I'm saying, the filtering part. Let's see. Some of the parts that's very true. The whole thing, like I said, most of it was shaky. All of it wasn't. He did have moments where he got his bearings, I think, particularly in the high part. So, oh my gosh, Speaking of, oh crap, oh crap. A comment made me miss. Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. He uses so breath pressure. Let's go back to breath pressure. What I just did, right? When I went all the way up there. So here's the thing. A lot of times, the reason why he sounded better when he started singing in the higher parts was he was using that energy the entire song that it took to sing the higher parts. So again, back to hyperfunctionality. The breath pressure that he was using for the low, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? You don't need as much breath pressure because the pitch is lower. And I don't think he's learned that yet. So, one thing that I teach all the time is about feeling in your body. What does it feel like to sing well, right? So once I tell you, yes, that's it, back off of the sound, and then you sing it. What did that feel like? That felt like nothing. Okay, great. So that means when you sing in that pitch, don't expect to feel all this pressure in your body because you don't need to feel all that pressure in your body. Now, when you go to and the rockets red glare, the bones burn, you're gonna feel pressure. You're gonna feel chest pressure. You're gonna feel pressure here, like a downward outward pressure. That's okay. So, this idea of projection and singing from your diaphragm, it's not a one size fits all. It's all subject to the pitch that you're singing and the dynamic level that you're singing at. And what's the ideal dynamic level for your voice, right? It's going to feel different for a baritone than it will for a tenor because their tessitures are different and their voices blossom in different areas. So we have to learn what works well for each pitch, for each voice and voice type. His low notes don't need to be strong. Why does every single note have to be strong in order for it to be good? Listen to what Tamia did on Officially Missing You. All I hear is raindrops falling from the rooftop. Can you imagine if she's like, all I hear is raindrops because I have to project falling from the rooftop. Everything doesn't have to be like that. So the whole point is for it to have ebbs and flows and for it to grow and change in dynamic level. That's what makes music beautiful. So don't be afraid if you're talking about a 1 to 10, don't be afraid of your level ones. Those are pianissimos, and don't be afraid of your fortissimos. They all make it beautiful. If you just stay in the middle, you're boring. Okay? So I think that's what I got to say today. um his tone still needs a lot of work. I addressed that. That's why I love your analysis. People make singing so inaccessible with their elitism. Everything doesn't have to be powerful. Paris, I love you, girl. Yes. Back off, back away from the note. Back away. That's what I tell people. Back away from the note. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go because I want you guys to be able to review this. I don't want this video to be so long. People are like, ooh, child, I'll watch it later. So it was a pleasure. If you guys want to interact with me in any way, there's a Linktree link. It's not on my YouTube, but it's on everything else. I do have a membership program now where you can join for $1 for the first month. Jacquees sounds like Donald Jones. Look, how do we sonically convey emotion through singing? Through dynamic. That's how. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Can you believe I finally made a vocal analysis video for the first time in like 4 years? Y'all need to congratulate me, child. Share, comment, all of that good stuff if you're not subscribed yet. And follow me on TikTok. I'm making TikTok videos. I'm very much enjoying these duets. Bye. Yes, I check my DMs. What are you talking about? Bye. Bye, guys.